Welcome to another episode of the UNIBEN Alumni Series. It is a show where we discuss everything UNIBEN, and especially where we have conversations with alumni of the institution, men and women, distinguished men and women that have passed through the four walls of the University of Benin. And I'm your host, Kevin Omokaro. On today's episode, we have a man of so many progressive paths. He is a retired Nigerian Army general. He is a senior pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church. He's also a consultant ophthalmologist. So he's a man of so many progressive paths. He's a medical director of an eye center in Lagos. It is my honor to announce to our viewers today that we have Dr. Tony Okpobrisi retired with us today. Thank you very much, General, for accepting our invitation, for creating time to come and speak to us about your journey as a student of the University of Benin. Thank you, General.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. General, sir, since I came across your profile and found out you're an alumnus of the University of Benin, something I've been wanting to ask you this question. You graduated from the institution in 1981 as a medical doctor.
81.
And you got commissioned into the Nigerian Army in 79, 2 years before graduation. What was that? Why didn't you wait? Or have you always had a dream to join the Nigerian Army? And when the opportunity came at that point, you just said, okay, let me go in. Or why didn't you wait till after graduation?
2 reasons. I've always had a dream to join the army because I had an uncle who joined the army in 1951 and was commissioned. He joined as another rank as a soldier recruit.
Yeah.
Commissioned 1957.
Oh.
If I were, because the army gives numbers to officers as their commission. His number was N249. So officers in Nigeria Army was number 249. Much more senior to them, Babakida and all those people. And anytime he came to our village as an officer, when he was a captain, even lieutenant, and before he became a major, he comes with a retinue of soldiers. Everybody, but he was the idol of the town.
Yeah. So that inspired.
Late. He was my senior cousin.
So when the opportunity came in 1979 to join, you did not take part.
At that time, the army had a program. They call it cadetship. They knew that many people, when they graduate from school and they are already graduates, are not really so much interested in joining the army. So they attract medical students, attract students who are doing engineering who have not finished. Because in school in 1979, that I was now in part 4, we were commissioned and given the ranks of second lieutenant, even when we have not gone for training.
No.
So many salaries as second lieutenant. So that was the attraction.
Oh, I see. And as of that time, studying a course like medicine at the University of Benin, didn't you think about the stress combining both being in the army and being a student, combining both? And the information I got at that time, I think I heard, as a student of UNIBEN, medical student of UNIBEN, you do go to other institutions like Zaria, Ibadan, so maybe for a year program or so. Was it during your time or before your time?
That was before my time. In fact, he stopped all those programs, especially in Abu, stopped 1979.
Okay.
Those who were to go to clinical before 1979 had to go to ABU. Because that UBTH was not yet ready.
Okay.
Still in building. But by the time I reached to go to the clinicals, UBTH was ready.
Oh, okay.
Go to Ibadan or go to Zaria for any course. I
Okay.
completed my training in Benin. I started that I would do PD1, PD2. I did those ones in the Ekewa. And then when we reached the main part one for medicine, we came over to Bowo.
So go.
When I finished my second MD and I was ready to go for clinicals, when you now start going to the ward, UPTH had been built and commissioned. So we
Okay. Okay. My question once again is, didn't your time as a student, a medical student, and also commissioned into the army, how were you able to handle these two different responsibilities, as I will call it?
You see, our army adventure that time was just like theory. Apart from that, we applied for commission and attended the interview. Once the interview result came out, the army did not disturb us. That was the arrangement. Until we graduated, finished our marksmanship. That is when we now went for military training.
Okay.
We're wearing the rank. If I was in the way, when we wear uniform, we don't know where to wear the cap. Whether to the right or to the left.
That'd be very, very interesting. Then, what about your colleagues, your fellow students? Then, how did they receive it? How did they receive you as a commissioned officer?
You see, what happened is that in my class, that's those who finished 81. That time when the army brought out the carrot, attracting us, so many people they applied and went for the interview. And at the end, in fact, the army gave opportunity to more than the 20 or 30 of us. But many people rejected it. But my classmates, we were up to 10 that we joined the army like that. So
that's interesting to hear.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Okay. Thank you, General. Sir, your career in the military is nothing short of exceptional. Yeah, at one point, you were HOD of the Eye Center at Borno Camp. You are also the director of 68th Nigeria Army Reference Hospital in Yaba, Lagos. And at the peak of it all, you were the acting commander of the Medical Corps.
Yeah.
Did UNIBEN play any role in preparing you for these responsibilities?
Very much. You see, I didn't mention it. Maybe you had a look at my profile, but the truth is that my interest in medicine arose out of the fact that my uncle, senior brother of my father, was the first or second trained nurse, registered nurse in Isoko, where I come from, Isoko Delta. And he was the one that really had this drive that I must be a doctor, because that time even a nurse was even like a chief consultant of now. Because what he could do that time, I don't think some chief consultants are doing them. But he prepared me, he prepared my mind, and he was a chief in my area, and he knew many people. He knew the registrar of UNIBEN there, Chief Odwara. Chief Odwara died in our first year in Berlin, in BD1, because he died in an accident. But my uncle knew him, and he took me to him when my result was very good from WAEC.
Yeah.
I was already doing the HSC in the government college, but I was admitted on merit to UNIBEN.
To UNIBEN.
Yes. So that man was like someone that I admired a lot, because I mean he was a go-getter in those days. It's not this IT age. I'm talking of Chief Otwara. If you check the records, you will find he was a registrar of the Then everybody that time, there was not any much gap for us. We looked at all the people who were lecturers and professors, and even in VC, Professor T.M. Yusufu, who was our first VC, and by 1978, Professor Adamu Baike came. And in fact, the swag of Professor Adamu Baike and his style of management. I want to tell you, the 8 years that Adamu Baike was VC in Benin, there was no riot of the students. They had a particular way of managing students. They had a particular way as an educationist. I mean, you wouldn't consider that to Professor Yesu, but everybody has his own style of managing. These people looking up to them and aspiring to be great like they were great was part of my propelling. That's one of these I can say I learned from University of Benin. And when I entered medical school, someone who's up to tomorrow is my mentor, Professor Joseph Anyaru, emeritus professor of ophthalmology. But that's one of the reasons I came to ophthalmology later. These people, the space, what the teachers in UNIBEN put into us. At the time, we failed me to talk of Professor Koki, KDK. That was people. Come on, old man like that, but he was taking us physiology. And Professor Poforibo, Professor Shofoluwe was taking us community. It had so many people, they poured things into our lives. When we are going for medical school, when we're in the clinicals, Professor Jackson of Mene, I don't know whether you heard of him.
Yeah.
But the fear of Mene was the beginning of wisdom. That time we thought they were wicked, but they sowed qualities of leadership into our lives.
Yeah.
So I look back, I can tell you that they trained me, yes, I've gone through so many trainings, but the foundation of it was UNIBEN.
Glad to hear that. And you were mentioning some names. Obviously, you still have fond memories of your time in UNIBEN.
Very, very fresh. Very, very fresh.
Can you share some of them with us? Some issues that happened, some events, remarkable events that happened while you were a student that you still look back today and you just smile.
Yes, I remain medical student, especially when we're in the medical school. When we started anatomy dissection. You know, in anatomy, they put a dead body before you that has been treated with formalin so that, you are not going to be sick by touching the body. But you see the dead body in your front. When you start, towards the end, the dead body by dissection, by cutting here, cutting there, teasing here, has been torn to pieces. But at the beginning, you see the dead body lying down there. They say they don't give you a knife for your cut. In fact, many of us, our eyes on the window. Say, just get some wood style of. So, but then, as the cut progressed, this body that you were afraid of, before long, you can even carry it on your shoulder.
That's just it.
The students will go one leg and say, no, this is for me. This was we can't be detected. You will not remember again that it's a dead body. So we had a good time in UNIBEN, all said and done.
Yeah, and there's this popular notion that for medical students, they don't really have fun.
Fun?
Yes, in school.
That is far from it. Because there are different, your pastime, let me say your pastime, when you are not in lecture. Even the lectures, we try to make as much humor as we can out of it. But when you come out of the lecture, what do we do all the time? You have to socialize. You have to, myself, when I was in the university, I was already a member of the Christian Union because I gave my life, like we say in our own palace, I gave my life to Christ my first week or second week on the 19th of January 1975. That's when I gave my life to Christ in UNIBEN, when they were organizing at first. Just exposing the new students to what is happening in campus. But I know my classmates when they were in this place where they drink and wine. It was COVID. The COVID. There are different clubs. And then there was the student center. When you are your head is hot from reading, you go to the student center.
Okay. General sir, for those of us that are the younger generations of UNIBEN alumni, we are often told our life at the university was a bit better for you during your time, especially when it comes to some food subsidy provided by the federal government, the environment and all that. How was life on campus generally during that time?
Campus was fantastic. You will call it the good old days. The good old days. Where we enter UNIBEN, a meal in a day was 50 kobo a day, 50 kobo. Breakfast was 10 kobo. The other meals 20 kobo, 20 kobo. And at the beginning of the month or even term, you are giving the full meal tickets.
Oh.
Full meal tickets for the month or for the time. That if a friend did not have, because luckily I was on scholarship. I was on scholarship from the federal government. Even before I joined the army, I was on scholarship from the federal government. You just go to the bursary, they will say, what's your name? They look at your name, give you a full booklet of food. So that even if your friend did not have food,
the food to give.
Yeah, there's Sundays where they give you 1/4 of chicken, 1/4 of a full chicken. Your friends come from town, you give them the meeting to join to go eat.
Mm.
Life was good. In the hostels, I mean, when we started in the hostels, when you go out to lecture, before you come, the porters, the people working in the place have tidied your room, dressed your bed, and they give you a tissue paper, one roll of tissue paper for 2 weeks. And so it was like
Oh, now, in continuation of this, our life was then. I know the university was founded in 1970, so this was just a few years after the establishment. And you mentioned moving from a K1 to Okpobrisi. So, well, that means you started as a medical student at the K1 campus.
When I started, the program of prelim was 18 months. So we got the first 6 months PD1. Then the second, the last 12 months, they call it PD2. That is prelim 1, prelim 2. It's after that, and we usually do that in the K1 campus.
Okay.
That only medicine was in the board. It was later other faculties that coming to the board. But at the initial, when they started, medicine was only a board. If you think medicine would be only you let you do, but we didn't know that
the main campus.
The main campus when we started.
Okay.
Nobody wanted to go to Bo. Everybody preferred to be in Ekewa.
Okay, yeah, I see. Okay. So while general, a few weeks ago, some students, now alumni of the institution, took the Hippocratic oath as medical doctors.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for them, for these young medical doctors?
Yes, just like the Hippocratic oath. I took my Hippocratic oath 4th of June, 1981. 4th of June. I remember.
And was it at the Akinjeko Auditorium?
No, those things were not in existence then.
Okay.
We did that usually. I can't even remember about this. Those things were not in existence. No, it was the auditorium, the old auditorium. I don't know whether they still use it. There was a basement. There was a basement in the auditorium where there was cafeteria and all those ones. But after they have not built
Okay.
But my advice is that medicine is a humanitarian job. And when you come into medicine, you cannot be thinking of money first. You must think of saving lives. But money will come if you are faithful and you apply yourself. But if you start saying this money, then you are very off. Because you are going to see people who are sick and they cannot afford it. And you will not treat them because they don't have money. You will see injuries, you will not treat them. You will be insisting that they should drop money, you should deposit money. Once you start that, then you are not a doctor. No matter how well trained you are, no matter the gift and your expertise. Think of medicine as giving to society. Giving to society. But as you give, because the word of God is very short. There is he that scattereth and yet increaseth. And there is he that withholdeth more than his need and intended to poverty. So don't be wise in your own eyes. Just we be good to like if you are playing the fool. But if you are faithful to it, God, because God is the one that started mercy. When the children of Israel were in the wilderness and they came to water and they cannot drink the water was bitter, he instructed Moses, cut this wood and throw it into the water. That is like medicine. And then even when Satan beat the people and they were dying, he instructed Moses, make a bronze serpent and raise it up. Everybody that look, whether it's a form of phototherapy or whatever, but they got healing. So God is the author of medicine. And if you are practicing medicine, you have the fear of God, like we say, we treat, we care, but it is God that heals.
Thank you, General. And General, on a final note, what is that one attribute you took from UNIBEN that is very handful today that you still hold on to? That when I was in UNIBEN taught me this, and I still hold on to that in today. What's it?
I was not telling you some of our professors. What is the motto or logo of UNIBEN? Motto,
not
only
service.
For service.
Yeah.
If you know something and you are not imparting society, then what have you known? What is the knowledge for? It's not head knowledge. Head knowledge is not beneficial to anybody. How are you serving? How are you serving? I mean, you thank by the grace of God, you say I'm a pastor. Even in my own community, where I come from, I'm serving the community from time to time. I did medical outreaches, even for the indigent. Even my own clinic that you made mention of, we have what we call this. There are some people almost pay nothing. Pay almost nothing for surgery. Then we recover money from those who can pay. So anybody comes and you say you don't have money, what are they with? So knowledge for service. We do not acquire knowledge for the sake of acquiring knowledge. We acquire knowledge so that we can serve. We can serve our community, serve our friends, serve our families, serve the nation, serve UNIBEN.
Thank you so much, General. Thank you for all you do for humanity. So we really appreciate. Thank you for honoring our invitation to join us on this show. We are very appreciative. We'll be taking to Dr. Tony Okpobrisi, a retired Nigerian Army general and a chief consultant ophthalmologist. He is also a medical director of an eye center in Lagos and a senior pastor with the Redeemed Christian Church of God. It was an engaging discussion. He shared his experiences while as a student, how he got commissioned into the Nigerian Army.